as you can see, it's a really great neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, it's a great
The
pocket
house
to
has
market.
great bones. Oh, I'm sorry. Would you excuse me? What the hell happened?
Hit and run. I'm never going to that Walmart again.
Hello, I'm Flavia. Hi, Matt. Hi, Patricia.
Hi.
Thanks for talking to me. You know, like as a journalist, as a writer as well, I'm so into this show because it's so character driven, and I love this kind of show. You know, where we can dip into the character and the personality, the light and the dark side. So I wish you both could speak a little bit about Peggy and Danny.
I love this, how they fit together in this kind of beautiful way, where they've created this family together and they have history together, and they both have this weird kind of spirituality. And then they also meet in this very negative way where they're addicts and they want to hustle people and outsmart people. And then, she thinks things should be done a certain way. And then he, as the sort of paternal father figure of this family, decides there's a better way to do it. And it always ends up getting them in trouble. Not that she wouldn't get them in trouble herself, but he somehow gets them in more trouble.
Yeah.
He's her kryptonite.
This was when I read it right away, I thought this is so much potential because it's all about, like, I'm glad that you picked up on that, because that's what I think was so great about this and why I like these characters were fun. They're funny because they're real, and there's so much good backstory, and the story was close to them, especially one of the writers. Peggy's character is based on her sister. Denny's character was based on her husband. And, so we had that. And the dark and the light is there with both of them. I think Denny is constitutionally incapable of being honest. That's his big thing. He doesn't think that. He believes that he's on the right path. But of course, it always strays, and then but these characters, what is also enjoyable is they can make one bad decision after another, but they're resourceful and they're survivors. And they're survivors.
I asked you to spring for a stash. I'll say thank you. My kid is visiting. You ruined the holiday, Diddy.
Not me, it's the plumbing.
Your character is one of the funniest. You both, because you have two characters. I mean,
Yes.
like Ginger is quite funny and intriguing, but also Rosalind, you have a double duty in this show. So how was for you, like, create both characters?
I got to work with Patricia most of the time, and I just love working with her. And to be her mother was it's such an important character to Peggy, because basically I was her champion and her support system and best friend, and really like a soulmate for her. And she dies. And so Peggy is really trying to find her footing, grieving her mother, and gets into these, funnily enough, decides to become a private investigator. But to do those scenes with Patricia where we're laughing, and then I talk to her as a ghost, basically, at one point where Patricia has taken drugs, and I'm giving her love and giving her support from kind of being in both worlds and helping her from there. And it just was a thrill. And then I'm playing this other character who's a doppelganger for her mother. She sees her getting on a bus, and I'm just like a has-been actress from the 70s named Ginger Fox, who has an attitude and thinks very highly of herself. And Peggy convinces her that her career isn't over, that she should continue on. And she writes a script for her to come to Pioneer Town, unbeknownst to Ginger that she's actually playing her mother, and Peggy's working out her problems. So, I mean, the whole show is irreverent and wonderful and funny, and also heartfelt because of Peggy grieving for her mother so much and having these flashbacks.
We
We supported you while mommy was here, but ain't happening anymore.
I think that Peggy's a lot stronger than Peggy realizes, right? And I think Danny recognizes that too. And I think, that's why Danny, he's a loyal guy. He loves her. And when he comes into the story, it's because he's coming out of jail and he wants them back together like a family. Because this ultimately, what's good about this is I love the family dynamic. Anytime I see something in film or I always like when it brings in the family dynamic because we all have to deal with that, good for better or worse,
And I think Denny is the only person in Peggy's life who ever showed up and said, let me take care of this. Let me take that off your shoulders. She's never really known that with anybody else. And that's a big relief for her. And I think she misses that. And he's charming to her. And she does understand this weird spirituality that he has. And they're both hustlers. And, the addict in both of them, I think, is also like, yeah, let's get back together because we'll get high.
He knows that she needs a little bit of encouragement to come over to his side of seeing things.
See? And then she's also such a soft touch to him. It's like, no. And then he knows she's got this maternal part. And then he always just gets his way with her. It's like butter. It's really like cutting butter, super easy for him.
So, Keir and Christine, I was watching the show and I was feeling that you both have the most difficult task in the show, which is, living with a crazy sister that you love and you want to save sometimes and you want to kill sometimes, brotherhood, and sisterhood. So how was it for you?
Yeah, I would say it's like equally the most difficult part, but also the easiest part because, luckily, the chemistry that we all had together as siblings, I think, was just immediate and very organic. So we got to play around with that and find different avenues for discovering, different things about each other personally that we could bring to it, from our own lives, but also the lives of these characters and how they get along or don't get along, like you said. It's fun.
We all can relate, in at a certain point,
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I love that you said that. We're, living with a sort of, she is, it's like a roll of the dice, who we're going to get, what Peggy are we going to get on a given day? Has she taken anything? Is she sober today? Is she going to pitch us on some crazy idea? But, at the heart of it, and I think that's what's so challenging, particularly with families and a big loss of, we all just lost our mother and we're all grieving very differently. And I think Stuart and Diane are in practical mode. It's like they're probably not feeling the feelings, that they're just like, okay, we got to sell the house because we need to get the money and you can't afford it. And these are the steps. But Peggy is feeling it so deeply. And I think, for Diane as the middle child, and, she wants to carry out Stuart's orders, but she loves her sister and, is rooting for her. And I just feel like that we're all sort of grieving in different ways, but family dynamics are very tricky because there's a lot of love, but you also could hate them on a given day, depending on what the behavior is.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, by the way.
Never again.
What's interesting about this show is the characters are much more messy and complicated than you usually see in television. In television, they're writing so that everyone makes the smartest choice. These guys are constantly shooting themselves in the foot all the time. And so is every other character.
What? What are you looking at? Get out of here.